Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down everything that happened from Talladega. But before we hop into the video, I just want to quickly remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it if you did that. But let's go ahead and hop into the video. Matthew, my friend and co-host, is joining me on the show, and he's got some gear on. We'll actually get to something that happened related to that at the end of the video. We'll talk about that in our news. But it is Talladega week, or it was Talladega week. One of, I guess, both of our favorite weeks of the year. We both did stuff on iRacing. I did a lot of stuff. I actually got a win in the Cup Series, so that was really cool to get that done. I have all my Jeff Gordon Talladega diecast wins down there, 4 of those back there on display for you guys too. Love Talladega. It did not disappoint. But Matthew, how you feeling before you go ahead and hop into this video?
Well, I'm not feeling too well after what I saw this past Sunday for me, just watching my driver, but the race itself was absolutely amazing. It was intense as always. My blood pressure was high as always. Um, but yeah, what an interesting day it was, and let's get right into it.
Alright, so I actually want to start off talking about the truck race. I almost feel like I might talk about this more than the Cup Series race itself, because there was actually a lot that happened in the truck race. First of all, there were 2 accidents, one involving Stuart Friesen and one involving Greg Van Alst, and unfortunately both of them were taken to the hospital after separate incidents. Stuart Friesen, on his Twitter, somebody said that he was released from the hospital with no further explanation, and then Greg Van Olst, something came out on his social media as well, saying he had a fractured vertebrae in his back. So hope he gets well soon. I know he's an ARCA guy, had a start in the Truck Series. Tough break for him. Hope he gets well soon. Glad Stuart Friesen was okay though. And then on top of that, something even crazier happened in the Truck Series race. So Matt Crafton and Nick Sanchez, they got into it on the track. First, I'll go over what happened on the track. So Sanchez was in line behind Crafton off of turn 4. He makes a move inside of him to go 3 wide, and they make contact, and that sparks a wreck. Matt Crafton was involved, and then after the wreck, Matt Crafton, he decides to park his truck in Nick Sanchez's pit box, and then after that, he took it to the garage area. And then after the race, some of this is by word of mouth, and some of it is caught on video. So what was caught on video was what seemed to be Nick Sanchez on the ground with a very bloody nose, getting up and then screaming and cursing and da-da-da-da-da towards what seemed to be Matt Crafton. And then there was a interview of him from the care center afterwards, and in that interview, he said that Matt Crafton just came up behind him, gave him a tap on the shoulder, and then when Sanchez turned around, Crafton gave him a sucker punch straight to the face. His face was very jacked up, but he said he was okay. But yeah, we don't see the punch from Matt Crafton on camera. We just see what's on the video that's on social media is Sanchez is already on the ground. He's getting up, being held back by people trying to not go back after him. But Sanchez says what he said, and then Matt Crafton chimed in on Twitter. He gave a whole 6 paragraphs of what he thought happened. And NASCAR, I'm assuming they're going to step into this, and we'll find out more on Tuesday or Wednesday if there's any kind of suspension or anything like that. But as far as like the on the track situation goes, I'm actually going to defend Nick Sanchez here. I don't see what he did wrong. I saw he made a move to the inside of Matt Crafton. I even think Matt Crafton may have came down just a tiny bit, or if not, they made contact. It's not like Sanchez was trying to wreck Matt Crafton for position at Talladega. He was just trying to make a move. They make contact, and Matt Crafton gets in a wreck. And that's what happens at these kind of tracks. And honestly, I have no idea what Matt Crafton was thinking. Honestly, I've never really liked him in general, but this just made me lose even more respect for him. He's like 42, I think. He's supposed to be a veteran in the Truck Series, and he gets wrecked. He parks in Nick Sanchez's pit stall. Then after the race, apparently he was waiting for Nick Sanchez to come around, and he just sneaks up behind him and punches him in the face. So if that is 100% what happened, Matt Crafton should be ashamed of himself. He's a veteran of the Truck Series. He should have walked up to Sanchez and talked it out, and then, maybe things get physical after that, but you don't just walk up behind somebody, tap them on the shoulder, and punch them in the face. Like, that's just unacceptable, especially from someone of his age and how long he's been in the Truck Series. He's raced, I think, every single truck race at Talladega. He should know what happens, that this kind of stuff just randomly happens. You get wrecked at Talladega. It happens. Um, but I really don't know what got into him. It's a disgrace, in my opinion, if that is truly what happened. Like I said, some of it is by word of mouth, some of it is caught on video, but that's just the gist of what happened. But anyways, that all happened in the Truck Series. Brett Moffitt actually won that race. Good for him to come back to the Truck Series and get a win there. He had the Xfinity Series, they were off, so he jumped into the trucks and got him a win, so good for him. But onto the Cup Series, things get off to a hot start in Stage 1. The end of it, actually, Ryan Blaney ended up getting the win. And then there was an incident on the track on the backstretch going into Turn 3. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he made a move to the outside, and Kyle Busch went to follow him. And then going into Turn 3, you can see on the replay Ricky Stenhouse kind of waving his hand out the window like something's wrong. It's a little bit too late. Ross Chastain goes underneath Busch and Stenhouse, and he gets loose and ends up spinning out and hitting the wall. And then Christopher Bell gets a little bit of damage as well, and Ross Chastain would be knocked out of the race. And like I said, Ryan Blaney did win the stage, and it looked like Ricky Stenhouse ran out of gas. Wrong spot at the wrong time for him. Thankfully, the crash wasn't as big as it could have been, because Kyle Busch could have literally ran over Ricky Stenhouse and spun him in front of the whole field. Ross Chastain could have spun out even worse and collected even more drivers. So thankfully, it was just mainly Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell involved in that accident. And then in Stage 2, that one was a little bit more clean. Brad Keselowski ended up winning that one after making a move on the backstretch. And only 5 playoff drivers got stage points for both stages combined. William Byron got 18, Kyle Larson got 12, Ryan Blaney got 10, Keselowski got 10, and Reddick got 1 stage point. And then we kind of had a funny situation on pit road. Ty Gibbs left his pit stall with the fuel can, and it caught on fire. And the can dropped out of the car and basically just lit up on pit road. Just a fire on pit road. That was a bit funny. Everyone was okay, thankfully. And then Denny Hamlin, he had a penalty for speeding during green flag pit stops, and he was working his way to the front of the field to try and stay the first car lap down. He was battling Austin Cindric for that for most of the third stage. And then there was a big crash in Stage 3. Brad Keselowski, he was trying to push Carson Hocevar down the front stretch into the tri-oval, and Hocevar just got loose, and he came down the track and collected Ty Gibbs and Austin Dillon, and big impacts for both of those cars to the outside wall. Ty Gibbs and Austin Dillon, very hard crash for both of them. And then Keselowski, he was sliding down the front stretch, and the car tried to come off the ground just like Ryan Preece did at Daytona, but thankfully it got like the 2 right side tires off the ground and then came right back down. So very thankful that was the case there. Matthew actually brought up a great point about that. It's probably because the grass wasn't there to kind of go under the car and give it a little bit more of an air boost. It was just sliding down the racetrack. So good thing that car did not get up in the air. I still think NASCAR needs to look at that, because we've seen several incidents where cars are sliding sideways down the racetrack and they try to get airborne. So I hope NASCAR does hopefully take a look at this, because we cannot have any more of these cars coming off the ground like they did for Ryan Preece. And thankfully, Brad Keselowski, his car did not do that. But yeah,
Well,
that was a big. Ooh,
well,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I just don't think, that you can't really, like, what's the word? Like, I think it's just one of those situations you just can't, get rid of. I mean, that's just straight up aerodynamics. And I mean, we've seen, like I said, when we made that Daytona video, we've seen many of these cars. Oh, it doesn't matter what generation of cars. We've seen these cars get up in the air, especially if it gets turned at a certain angle. And these cars just tend to lift on these super speedways. But I mean, I don't know if there's much you could do. I mean, you can't lower the horsepower. It's already low enough, already how it is. I don't think you should lower it more, but I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that can't be fixed. Other than just get rid of the grass.
Yeah, I just kind of like I'm seeing a pattern where the car is sliding a certain way and it's starting to come off the ground, so it might be something NASCAR could look into just because of it's a pattern and it's repeated itself several times. So maybe NASCAR can look at it, maybe they can't. But I'm like, if there's some kind of pattern where the car is going up a certain way, they might be able to do something about it. I don't know, but I'm just pointing out that several cars have come up that particular angle. But, anyways, after that, for the final about 20 laps or so, it was a battle between drivers like Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Riley Herbst even was up there at the front in the first 2 or 3 rows pushing towards the end of the race. And those final 15, 20 laps, really good super speedway racing. It is kind of hard though, because apparently if the bottom lane and the middle lane are both full throttle trying to race and compete. It's kind of hard to get that third lane going because a few drivers try to go up all the way to the wall and try to get something going up there, but they just couldn't do it. So everybody was just kind of gridlocked. Only the first 2 or 3 rows were really making moves, going past each other back and forth. But the final lap came out. Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick were both side by side. And on the backstretch, Kevin Harvick tried to come up and block Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Blaney dove right back to the bottom to cross him over, and they drag raced through turns 3 and 4, all the way down the front stretch through the tri-oval, and Ryan Blaney was able to hang on and get the win barely. Once again, Ryan Blaney gets a narrow win at Talladega. So let me quickly go over some of the race results, and then I'll do a little bit more chatting about it. So Ryan Blaney first. Oh yeah, also Kevin Harvick, unfortunately, his car was disqualified due to something going on with the windshield. Something was supposed to be in place, and it was not in place. So Kevin Harvick was disqualified, so it wouldn't have even mattered if he won. I'm kind of glad he didn't win, because that would have been even worse if he won the race and then found out, oh, you're disqualified. So updated top 10 results after inspection are Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Corey LaJoie, 4th place. Great run for him. He was running about 6th or 8th that whole final run. Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, Chase Elliott, 7th. Ryan Preece in the wonderful Ricky Bobby throwback car finished 8th. Riley Herbst, 9th. Daniel Suarez, 10th. Great run for Riley Herbst. He was up there, like I said, in those first 3 rows in the final 20 laps, giving some great pushes to Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney. And also to note, there was a crash coming to the checkered flag. I'm sure you guys probably saw it in the replay that I included in the video. Several drivers just going all over the place, chaos coming through the tri-oval. But that is the top 10 finishers for you guys. And Ryan Blaney, once again, wins at Talladega. His 3rd Talladega win, and all of them have seemed to be photo finishes. So in 2019 and 2020, he won by 7 1,000ths of a second, and then today he won by 12 1,000ths of a second. So Ryan Blaney just likes to make things fun at the end, likes to make win by that much every time, it seems like, at Talladega. This is his 2nd win of the season. Apparently, so he's had 5 top 5s. 2 of those have been wins this season, and this is his 2nd season with multiple wins. And I know everybody's like, Ryan Blaney, he's overrated, he's mid, da 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 da. And I do agree with that. I agree, he's kind of mid, but you gotta give him credit. These super speedway races, he shows up, he's always in contention to win them. And he got another one today. He's won here 3 times. He's won at Daytona before. So Ryan Blaney, always a threat to win here at Talladega. And punches his ticket to the round of 8. He joins William Byron in that round as well. And, expectations for Ryan Blaney, I don't think he'll make it to the Championship 4. I don't think so. We both had him out this round, according to our little sheet that I have right here, we both had him out missing the round of 8, so that just kind of proves both of our opinions on the speed Ryan Blaney has had this year, along with Penske in general. They just have not ran that well this year consistently on mile and a halfs, short tracks, road courses, just about anything except the super speedways, which we can always count on the Fords to be up the front there. So Ryan Blaney gets the win. Martin Truex Jr. I read a stat that this is his 6th straight finish outside the top 15, and he's still plus 17 points above the cut line. So that just proves how important the regular season championship is. All the playoff points that you get from winning races and winning stages. 6 straight finishes outside the top 15 is incredible, and he's still above the cut line. I can't believe that. And going into the Roval, a road course, I think he'll be okay to be able to move on. But it's just astonishing that Martin Truex Jr. just has not really been there in the playoffs so far, and he's still above the cut line. But I guess I'll just conclude my thoughts about the racing today. I thought it was really good through stages 1 and 2. It was 2 wide racing the whole time. They did not go single file once that I saw, and even 3 wide for most of the race. They had 3 different lanes going for most of the time. The ending did kind of stink just because it was mainly just 2 rows going back and forth. Nobody really made moves and tried to go 3 wide because it just wouldn't work. But other than that, I thought it was pretty solid today. Pretty good race. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Matthew is going to give his thoughts about maybe the truck race, maybe about some of the cup stuff, but he is going to go over the playoff grid. That's why I have him on here. So, Matthew, go ahead and share your thoughts about what you saw from Talladega today.
What a crazy weekend we had on both series, I'll say. So I got the playoff standings right here, and so let's get right into it. So of course William Byron's already locked in, and now we have Ryan Blaney who's now locked in. Congrats to him. He was definitely one of the one of the best cars today. He was up front most of the time, and he timed that last lap perfectly. So congrats to him. Denny Hamlin plus 50, which I consider that as long as he starts the race of the Roval, I think he is good to go to advance to the next round. He had an interesting day, being on pit road, but somehow he was able to recover and get a top 5 still. Christopher Bell plus 22. He had himself a very quiet day, other than getting some damage from that Ross Chastain incident. But he's still, I guess, stayed out of trouble. And besides that, and plus 22, so good for him. Chris Buescher plus 19. I was very surprised that we did not see much of Chris Buescher today, other than like maybe a couple of times during the race. We didn't see much of him because, of course, he won Daytona, the last super speedway, and there was a lot of expectation going in that RFK was going to be once again strong. But I mean, Brad Keselowski was up there, of course, but I didn't really see much of Chris Buescher, which was kind of surprising to me. But he's still plus 19, and he's very good on the road courses too. So I think he's good to go as long as he has no issues. Martin Truex Jr. plus 17. Oh, man, once again, another race where he's totally forgettable, that shouldn't be what a regular season champion is. I mean, he shouldn't be forgettable, but he's still plus 17. He's good on road courses too, but I mean, I even though he's good on road courses, I still don't feel confident about him going into next weekend, especially if they don't qualify well. So we'll see how that goes. Kyle Larson plus 15, who needed a good day after dominating last week and then wrecking himself out late in the race. But he was able to get some points, plus 15, which is still not safe, but it's still better than what he was coming in. I mean, he's also very good on road courses too, but we saw last year he had a problem. He had a problem there last year. That's what knocked him out of the second round last year. So it's not over till it's over. So that's Larson. Brad Keselowski plus 2, who won stage 2, but unfortunately he got caught up. Well, I wouldn't say unfortunately. He kind of caused that wreck himself by being over aggressive with pushing Carson Hocevar, and that caused a big wreck there. So he went from having a very good day today to only +2, and I'm not feeling good about his chances next weekend because this year he has been absolutely horrible on the road courses, like horrible. Like I mean, he's like in the 30s. I've seen most of these road courses. So that I mean, +2. I don't feel too confident about Brad on the road course next weekend. Tyler Reddick -2. Now I do feel confident about him next weekend because he's a very good road course racer as well. So there's a great opportunity for Reddick to maybe win or point his way in. He's only -2. Ross Chastain -9, which is kind of surprising considering he finished dead last today. Got no stage points, but he's still not only 9 points behind. Now he has been up and down on the road courses this year. I mean, he did win Coda last year, but he has been up and down on the road courses this year. So I don't know. I don't know about his chances next weekend. So we'll see how it goes for him. Bubba Wallace -9, which that was an absolutely missed opportunity for this team. We know Bubba Wallace. He's supposed to be very good in these super speedway races, but he was nowhere near to be found today, which was surprising. Um, and he got no stage points either. And now he's going to a road course, which has never been his strong suit. Even though Watkins Glen, the last road course we had, he was actually very good there. So if he can carry that momentum he had there to the Roval, then maybe he has a good chance. But I don't know. So it's not looking good for Boa next weekend. And unfortunately, once again, we got to talk about my guy being dead last, -26. Or maybe -25 now because Harvick got penalized. I don't know if that changes, but what an absolute waste of time it was for this watching this team. Waste of time. Anytime I see this car was literally up in the front at the end of stage one, of course the guy he pushes runs out of fuel. What a coincidence! And he gets damaged for that. And then anytime he tries to get up to the front, he picks the lane that falls back and he loses all his track position. I am getting sick and tired of this team. This team is killing me right now. I look. I know -26 is not technically a must win, but I've already accepted defeat. I'm ready for next weekend just to end my misery because this playoffs has been nothing but an absolute roller coaster. It just now I mean he is good on the road courses. I will say. I mean 3 out of the 5 he's finished top 5, and also in qualifying he's always yeah. I think most of those road courses he was able to qualify in that second round of qualifying, which is very important because the Roval it's going to be very hard to pass once again with these cars. If he can qualify good or even the pole, then maybe there's a chance. But knowing the luck that this team has, I don't see that happening. So, yeah, so that is the playoff standings. But overall, great race it was today. Like I said, a lot of action. Wasn't a big, huge wreck fest until the last 100 yards of the finish. But yeah, what a great race it was today. So had fun, and we'll see how the end of the second round takes shape at the Roval.
All right. As for our playoff bracket that we did for this specific round, right here where we wrote down the 4 drivers to be eliminated after the round of 12, I have Ross Chastain, who is currently -9, which is pretty good right now. I have Bubba Wallace, who is currently -9 as well. Ryan Blaney, he won today, so that eliminates that. And then I have Kyle Busch as well, who is obviously at the bottom of the cut line. And then for Matthew, he had Brad Keselowski out for this round. He's +2. Ryan Blaney, same thing as me. That's done with that. Christopher Bell, who's currently +22, and Bubba Wallace, who is also -9. So I got 3 drivers so far. You've got 2-ish that could be eliminated as well after this round. But yeah, as for my predictions, I think Brad Keselowski will get knocked out of this round. I think Tyler Reddick will jump in, just because Brad Keselowski has not been good at road courses at all this year, whereas Tyler Reddick, he seems to be a little bit better. So I think Tyler Reddick's going to get in. I think Brad Keselowski is going to be out, and then the other 3 will be out as well. But as for the race and rating the race, I think I have to give it an 8 out of 10. Like I said earlier, very solid racing all day long. 2x2 the whole way. The third lane will get going every now and then as well. A little bit of chaos and a few wrecks at the end and a photo finish. So I cannot complain about that. So 8 out of 10 for me. Matthew, what are you going to rate this race from Talladega?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I thought this was an absolute amazing super speedway race. And once again, these next gen cars have made these bigger tracks the racing even more exciting. So this was amazing to watch. Great finish, even though with Harvick DQ, that doesn't really count as a close finish anymore. But still a great race. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Alright, and time has gotten away from me, quite a long video compared to usual, so quickly some news that has come out for you guys. Matthew is wearing a Kite KBM shirt, so it was announced that Kyle Busch Motorsports was sold to Spire as part of a deal. Kyle Busch will still be a consultant, though, for Spire, and he is going to continue doing his 5 truck races a year with that team, so it just won't be KBM anymore, but Kyle Busch will still be active, part of Spire Motorsports, which is good to see. Love to see Kyle Busch still active in the Truck Series, producing good drivers that make their way up to the Cup Series, because we've seen several drivers do that. But Matthew, what are your quick thoughts on that before you go ahead and finish this video up?
Very sad day. It was a very sad day for the best truck team in Truck Series history. Of course, I'm wearing this because I got this pit crew shirt from Kyle Busch Motorsports when I went there last year. Of course, this was 2019 because it has Gander Outdoors logo on there, but I'm gonna miss it. Kyle Busch Motorsports will still technically be around because Brexton is racing. It's technically Brexton will be racing for Kyle Busch Motorsports. It'll just become a single car team basically for an 80-year-old. But I'm looking forward to see how Kyle Busch does with Spire Motorsports next year. It'd be interesting to have a Spire truck in the collection if he does win one of those. But before, let's. I feel like I had something else in my mind. Dang it. Man, Jimmy, you messed up my mind because of you maybe messed up my thoughts because of me reminiscing college motorsports. Man. Um,
Alright, that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed. A little bit longer than usual, but there's a lot of stuff we wanted to get to. Truck Series, Cup Series, Playoff Grid, KBM, all that kind of stuff. We love bringing you guys all that content. So if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe as well for NASCAR content throughout the rest of this season. But until the next time, we will see you guys in our next video.